Hey guys, it's Ivan, and today I'd like to chat with you about the real estate markets in the Toronto and the GTA area, specifically what happened in the month of January of this year. Certainly, there were quite a few changes in the market places, and today I'd like to take a look at some statistics, at some numbers, and see what is going on the market right now and where we are headed for the rest of the year. So there's a lot to unpack today. Buckle up and let's get started. For the past year of 2022, the interest rates have been raised beyond the point of where it made logical sense. And it was anticipated that the market is going to cool off and will continue being cool throughout the entire tightening cycle. This year, however, the real estate markets in the Toronto and the GTA have started to show some signs of movement. And not only that, the market sentiment amongst the buyers has been shifting from let's sit in the sidelines and see what happens to a more active approach of getting back into the market and start putting offers on properties. And in fact, this January, we have seen quite a few multiple offer situations, bidding wars. Myself personally, I have participated in a couple of them already with my clients. This is not by any means across the board. Only certain properties in certain neighborhoods have been receiving this kind of attention. But it's interesting to see how fast these changes can take place. Literally from November and December, where it was a slumber party, we are seeing quite a few multiple offers happening in January. And according to the Toronto Real Estate Board President Paul Barron, we are soon to see increased activity on the market, and the prices and sales are expected to pick up in the foreseeable future. And to add to that point, all three levels of the government have announced policies to enhance housing affordability and mitigate the effects of higher borrowing costs. I actually made a video on 8 housing initiatives that are coming out this year, so make sure to check it out. So let's take a look at the numbers and the statistics of January of this year and see how it compares to last year, January. Of course, we are comparing it to two different markets here. Last January, the news came out that the Bank of Canada will start raising interest rates, so a lot of more buyers flooded the market and start buying up properties, and of course, driving the prices up. This year is very much different. So we are comparing basically two different markets from peak to trough. So let's keep in mind while we are looking at the statistics. So let's take a look at the high-level data combining all asset types and all real estate markets of the Toronto and the GTA. And first, we're going to take a look at the sales, which dropped by 45% from January of last year, down to 3,100 total sales. The average price has dropped by 16%, down to $1,038,000 from $1,242,000 of January of last year. Days on the market have increased by a whopping 128%, from 18 days on the market on average up to 41 days this year. And finally, and actually was quite surprised to see this statistics, the total new listings have dropped only by 3.7%. To touch again on the point of the amount of listings that came up on the market this year and why it was surprising because it represented 88% increase since December of last year. And of course, people usually tend not to list their homes in December because of the holidays. But if you remember, 8 rate hikes and the pandemic ago in January of 2020, the amount of listing that came out in the market was pretty much similar. So again, we're witnessing a pretty rapid shift in the market sentiment here. And finally, taking a look at the sales to new listings ratio that helps us identify where we are on the market. Whether we are in the seller's market, which we're certainly not, are we in the balanced territory or are we in the buyer's market? So anything under 40% means that we are in the buyer's territory. And this year, in January, we did come down 30% since last year. We went down from the seller's market down to balanced territory. Guys, we're still not in the buyer's territory yet. So the point here is not to sugarcoat anything. Of course, we're not out of the woods just yet. We're just starting to see the change in the market. The market is still subdued due to the fact that the interest rates are so high, and it's evident that the activity has been shifting downwards quite significantly. We're looking at the city of Toronto right now. Sales came down by 33% for detached homes, 42% for semis, 58% for condo townhouses, and 57% for condo apartments. Now, the statistics is pretty similar to the one in the GTA as well. 38% down for detached homes, semi-detached came down 46%, condo townhouse 49%, and condo apartments by 53%. Now, when it comes to prices, I wasn't really surprised about the detached homes, semi-detached, and townhomes coming down by about 15 to 20+%. But what I was surprised about was the condos that dropped by 7% in the GTA and 8% in the city of Toronto. And the reason I was surprised about it is because they held pretty well throughout the entire tightening cycle of last year, and they didn't really drop in price that much. In January, however, and I attribute it to the fact that January of last year was pretty busy, condos were skyrocketing both in January and February. And so looking at it right now, it seems like the price of at that point had reached its peak levels. And this year we're witnessing a bit of a correction, even in the condo sphere. Now, looking at month over month, there was a bit of a sideways movement in prices in the Toronto and the GTA. Detached homes have dropped by 9.5% in Toronto, but only by 1% in the GTA. Price of the townhouses experienced a little bit of a bump in Toronto, and semis and condo apartments in the GTA are up 1.7% and 2.1% respectively. One way to describe the uptick in activity in January of 2023 is the rise of the sideline buyer, or buyers who were sitting and waiting to see what happens in 2023. So there seem to be coming back to the market. It seems like they're expressing the most amount of interest in properties under $800,000 mark, and as fixed rates beginning to drop, that gives them more purchasing power, and this is why we're probably going to see the demand and prices picking up in the around spring of this year. On top of that, the dovish sentiment from the Bank of Canada saying that they're going to be pausing interest rates and that we might see the interest rate cuts sooner than anticipated also contributes to the motivation for the buyers to come back into the market. And finally, we are going to experience quite a significant amount of immigration into the province and in the country as a whole. So the demand for housing will only increase from here on out. So this could be a pretty busy spring and the rest of the year, but who knows? Nobody has a crystal ball. So let's take a look and see what happens. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful and beneficial for you to make your own opinions and decisions about the real estate market in Toronto and the GTA. But if you wish to connect with me and chat a little bit more about that, feel free to do so. All my contact info is below. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.